Welcome to Spooky News from Spooky Ventures for July 12th, 2019. We got a lot to get to, so let's just get started. They say there's strength in numbers. Well, some UFO aficionados are counting on that. Apparently, there's a Facebook group where a number of them are planning to basically overwhelm the numbers of whatever you want to call them, security forces, whatever they are, at Area 51. They're planning a September event where more than 100,000 are going to just storm the area all at once, with the theory that they can't possibly catch them all. Of course, the very fact that it's getting news now means that they'll probably bring in all kinds of extra security so that they have an ability to do that, but it'll be interesting to see how the whole thing plays out. If you're watching our Spooky News videos, it's a pretty safe bet that you like horror movies. A new study from the University of Westminster suggests that watching horror movies is actually really good for your health. I'm going to share the article about this in the details section of the video, so you can check that out and see what you think about the health benefits of watching horror movies. I'm sure we're all going to be watching the movies whether it helps our health or not, but it's a nice little added bonus, isn't it? There are a lot of famous people who are horror fans. One you might not know about is Kirk Hammett from Metallica. Now, opening on the 13th, he's going to have an exhibit uh, of all of his horror memorabilia that he's collected over the years, and apparently he's got a very, very impressive collection. It's all going to be at the Royal Ontario Museum. Like I say, it opens on Saturday the 13th and it runs through uh, into January. So if you're going to be in that area, you got plenty of time to get up there and see it. It should be pretty interesting stuff. I mean, he's got, from what I was reading in an article, he's got an incredibly impressive collection because he's apparently a very, very big fan of horror. So you say you have an extra $6 million sitting around and you want to buy something cool? Well, there's a theme park called Ghost Town in the Sky, and it's in western North Carolina, and it is up for sale. But the catch is it's considered cursed by many people. There have been all kinds of misadventures happening with it. It keeps opening and closing and being scheduled to open, and then something goes wrong. So you may be able to purchase it if you got the money sitting around, but something extra might be coming with it. A new article was released this week about the couple who bought and have been living in the house from The Conjuring, and how they say it's very haunted. And they said that the house that was built in the 1700s, they've experienced all kinds of things in there. And of course, they're paranormal investigators themselves, so I suppose you can take that as you wish. But I will share the article in the details section of the video so you can go click on that and have a look around and see what you think. People love a good ghost story, and they also love celebrity stories. So, pop star Robbie Williams recently brought up a story that probably will appeal to both of those things. Apparently, he was said in an interview that he nearly killed himself at one point when he was living in a haunted house north of London, and he later found the house was a burial site for victims of the plague. And as it turns out, he fled the house. That's how he avoided the depression he was getting from all the things going on in the house. So you can check that interview out, and or at least the article about the interview. I think the actual interview is Rolling Stone, I think. But I'll share the pertinent details in the description of the video. Bring Pennywise home. If you've wanted to own Pennywise, there's a new Bear Brick uh, toy of Pennywise coming out. Actually, it's out. It came out on the 9th of July. Um, so you can get that and have Pennywise in your house, though I'm not really sure you'd want to. Earlier this week, we released 2 new designs in our Summer of Slashers uh, Spooky Ventures merchandise line, and we released 3 more about a week and a half or so ago. In any event, you can find it all at cafepress.com/spookyventures, but I'll include a link in the details section of the thing. You can also find at the main page, spookyventures.com, you'll see links both for the whole store and for several of the items that you can access directly. You'll see the pictures if you scroll down just a little bit. So get out there and see what we've got. We've got a lot of other cool designs too. We try to do new designs every couple weeks to keep things interesting and fresh. Seven News in Australia has released a cool list. Now, it really kind of doesn't qualify as news except that they released the list this week. And it is a list of the most haunted places or most spooky places in Australia. And I suppose if you're thinking about taking a trip there and want to make it a paranormal trip, you really need to check out this list. If you're from Australia, it would be a great idea to find places to go to visit uh, if you're already there. So I will include the link to the list in the details section on the video, and check it out and maybe find some cool places to go see. if you're going to be in the area of Mount Airy, North Carolina, you might want to make plans to go to one of their ghost tours of the Mount Airy Museum of Regional History. They're going to be running them every Friday and Saturday night through November. There's an interesting feature article that I'll include in the details of the video here, but they've got a couple interesting photos there, supposedly showing some paranormal stuff in the museum. I guess they don't just talk about the hauntings in that museum, though. There are also discussion about other supposed hauntings in other areas of the town. But like I said, if you're going to be in that vicinity, you might as well make plans to go to one of those tours. It sounds like a pretty interesting event. Located in Wallace, Idaho, the historic Jameson Saloon is another purported haunted location that does ghost tours there. You can go there, and I think you can even spend the night. There's a new article about some of the events that have happened there and are going to happen, and things they've seen, and that just surfaced this week. So I'll go ahead and put that in the detail section of the video, and you can have a look around there. Maybe take a trip out to Idaho to see that place. While the movie version of Stories to Tell in the Dark is getting all the attention, they're releasing a series of a re-release of the three books to tie into the movies. They're going to have covers redone to resemble the movie, and it should be a great collectible for people who enjoy those books. I mentioned in last week's edition that there's going to be a new version of The Stand, and this week it was news broke that Marilyn Manson's going to be joining the cast of that. Apparently, he's also doing a cover of the song "The End" by The Doors. Uh, that's going to be used in the TV series, mini-series, whatever they're doing of it. In any event, that's some interesting news. He'll be joining people like Amber Heard and Whoopi Goldberg and others in that show. Ought to bring a new dimension to the fans coming in to see The Stand then. In terms of movies opening this week, the Alligator uh, movie Crawl is the one horror film that starts this week. So that should be opening today. You can get out there and check that out. Get your movie tickets and go see how those gators do. And that's a wrap for this edition of Spooky News from Spooky Ventures. We hope to see you next week, and in the meantime, remember to keep it spooky. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.